Whenever I get on here and I say something like stop holding yourself back, 90% of people are going to use that as motivation. And the reason why is simply because a lot of people don't feel like they're meeting the standards that they have in their own life. A lot of people feel like they're not capitalizing on their own potential. A lot of people just feel like they miss the mark when it comes to certain things. And if they were to do what I am saying, as in stop holding yourself back, release the limiters, allow yourself to be the man that you've always known yourself to be, that's very motivating and that's going to get them on the right track. However, what I want us to do this time is just look at it from a different perspective. Because most times when I'm talking to you like that, I look at that as if I was a teenager talking to another teenager, or if I was a young adult talking to a younger adult. And then if as an adult, it's like somebody who has had a long run of bad luck and they're really down and out. Okay. And that's, again, that's awesome. There's a place for that. But where I want to come from this point is from a man talking to another man, okay? And the reason why I said that is because there are certain things that are realities that if you were a child in thought, you would say things like, oh, well, if there's two people hanging off a cliff and I can only choose one, I'm going to try to save both. That's not realistic, okay? That's not how the world operates, because it is in your attempt to save both that you don't save any at all, and when you could have at least saved one. And so as a man growing up, you realize that a masculine principle is sacrifice. And there are certain things in your life that have to be sacrificed. There are certain decisions that you have to make that require sacrifice, okay? And if you haven't passed that point in your life, I don't think this talk is going to be very good for you. However, if you are used to it, or you have already passed this level in your life to where you've had to sacrifice some things. And when I say sacrifice, I mean sacrifice things you care about. Now, again, please don't be childish and think that I'm talking about some satanic ritual or some nonsense, okay? I'm talking about giving up the old so you can embrace the new, all right? So let's talk about it from that perspective. One of the things that I'm realizing as I'm doing a ton, and when I say a ton, I mean, you guys can go look up my live streams. When I look at the different countries, and when I study the social economics, and I study the people, and I study the history, when I'm doing all these things, I'm realizing that there are a lot of non-negotiables in some countries that is completely normal in other countries. I'll give you a quick example of this. So if you live in the United States, and I'm maybe Canada, sure, just say the United States, right? If you get pulled over by a police officer, and the police officer walks up to your car and he says, hey, you were speeding, I need your license, registrations, proof of insurance, right? That's kind of the normal thing. If you grab all your stuff and you slip a $20 bill in there and then you give it to him and he takes that back to his ride and he sees that $20 bill, you're going to jail. You are going to get a felony. Okay. That's not, and if you don't know about American law or anything, a felony is like one of the highest charges that you can get. Okay. You're going to get a felony for that. And so if you've grown up in this country, you're going to realize that, okay, paying the police officers up, you're not doing that unless you're touching like millions of dollars a day, millions of dollars a month. You get what I'm saying? Where you actually have to come out some very serious bread. And even then you have to have things in place for it to make sense. So there's no backlash if you get caught. Okay. So we just understand that the normal person is not going to be able to do that. However, if you go to insert country here that I'm not going to name for legal reasons, if you go to this country and you do that same process and you slip a $10 bill or $20 bill, guess what happens? They're going to let you go. They're going to take it back to the car and they're going to let you go. And you're going to have no issues. And that's how it works over there. And so this is what I mean when I say, so the reason why I'm telling you all of this is because you guys know that one of my main purposes of this channel is to get you to get a journal. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. And so you could get a journal so you can start understanding who you are and what you want. That way you can use your masculine ability to put yourself in that environment. Okay. And so what that means is you are no longer playing the town game. You are no longer playing the city game. You are no longer playing the state game. You're no longer even playing the country game. You're playing the world game. Okay. Does that make sense? And so you have to ask yourself, are you above bribery? See, these are the adult questions. These are the man questions that you ask yourself, right? Because if you tell a child, you're like, "Oh, what do you think about bribery?" And they're like, "Oh my God, no, it's not the right thing to do. You shouldn't do." You guys know what I'm talking about. But again, you can't allow where you grew up to have complete authority over your worldview. Does that make sense? And so you have to be able to take a step back and ask yourself, what am I okay with versus what am I not okay with? And that's very important because what a lot of us don't realize is a lot of the things that we've built our moral character on were simply due to programming and peer pressure. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how countries operate. That's how we get things in line. However, as a man, when you decide that, you know what, I'm going to be the leader of my own life, that means you can no longer allow anybody else to make decisions for you without your consent or without your know-how. Does that make sense? So again, if just because I'm the leader of my own life doesn't mean that I can't take advice from experts. That's not you get what I'm saying? But what I am saying is you should be looking at that expert now. You should be talking to him and talking to another person with a different perspective and see which one aligns more to who you are as a person. This is how you navigate. That journal is what I call a life compass. It tells you exactly where to go, who to talk to, and what you need to do. All right. And so whenever you start to write these things down, don't use your limited imagination. Okay, because you're like, oh, I can't bribe cops. That's not a reality in my mind. It's like it's not a reality in your mind in this country, but it's a reality in your mind in a different country if you were to take a look at that. And so the whole game and everything that I've been chasing, at least for me, is look out write down exactly who you are, find out who you are, start to find out what your strengths are, start to find out what your weaknesses are. How do you feel about certain things? How do you think about certain things? Is there certain things that you can do? Is there certain things that you can't do, that you won't do? You refuse to do it. Okay. And when you start looking at that, and I mean at the deepest level, then you can start picking a place of like, oh, this place aligns with me. This place doesn't align with me. You get what I mean? And what I noticed when I did that is there are a lot of things that I value personally that this country does not value. Okay. And that gave me my journey of, oh, I should switch countries, right? Which is why I talk about this stuff all the time. However, for you, it may not be as dramatic as switching countries. You may just need to switch towns. You know what I'm saying? There are some of you guys that you live in blue states and you didn't realize that, oh, wait, I should just go live in red states. Or if you're in a red state, you're like, oh, I should go live in blue states. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's more politics talk, right? But still, you get what I'm saying. That's the whole thing. You have to ask yourself, like, who am I? What do I want? How do I feel about things, especially about attacking these things? And then am I the person that's able to do these things, or do I have to pay somebody else to do it? You get what I mean? So this is the type of talk that a lot of people don't have. This is the type of talks that most dads should have with their sons, but usually it never happens. These types of talks happen at, I don't even say a high level because that sounds arrogant, but it comes at a level of self-awareness that if you're not ready for, then you're just going to think the person who's talking to you about it is like evil or bad or whatever the heck, right? So yeah, I wanted to mention that for you guys. So first things first, have a journal. Second things second, start going through things with yourself so you can understand who you are. I ask guys this question. I say, if you got hit in your face, are you the type that's going to keep fighting back? Are you the type of person that's going to freeze? Or are you the type of person that's going to run? Most men, 9.5 out of 10 guys, are like, no, bro, if I get hit in my face, bro, I'm punching back. I'm fighting back, right? But most guys haven't ever been in that reality to where they actually faced that version of themselves. Because there are plenty of videos that you can see on the internet. The moment somebody gets cracked one good time, bro, they're done. They want to run or they want to start making truces. And it's like, yeah, that's the type of guy that you are. Versus there's some guys that they get shoved on their shoulder and they're immediately like animalistic. You know what I'm saying? They completely black out and want to start. So again, it's like you have to go through certain things with yourself. And if you can't go through certain things with yourself, like I said, with that thing, you have to create it in a controlled environment. This is why a lot of guys take martial arts. right? Because you have to see who you are. Who are you when you get punched in the face? Who are you when you're getting your butt kicked? Who are you when you're tired? Who are you when you have to understand who these versions of yourselves. Instead of rejecting them, it's about seeing, one, if I can work on them, but if I can't work on them, then it's about accepting who you are and then putting yourself in positions to where you never have to reveal that side of yourself. If you're the person that fights, like if the moment you get hit, you want to run away, it would be in your best interest to never get into a fight. It would be in your best interest that if you see somebody getting really upset, you should be like, you know what, let me chill. Because you understand yourself enough to know that I don't fight. You feel what I mean? And so that's something that I want you guys to keep in mind when you're on your life, okay? I want you to be more conscious about who you are and then write that stuff down in your journal, all right? So cool. Like the video if you like the video. If you want me to make more videos like this, type down more videos. And subscribe if you want to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one, all right? Peace.